TV. Hello, everyone. Just waiting a couple of minutes. I don't know if anyone's there, but hi if you are. I can see that there's people now. All right. I'm just going to tell go away. Dean, go away. Shut that. Because it's on delay. So I'll shut that because I can't hear. I've just sent my husband out into the other room. All right. So just give it about 30 more seconds. If you're waiting, feel free to just lie down on your back. Just get yourself settled, start to relax and rest. And just start to slowly let go of the day. Just give it one more minute. I'll wait till it clicks over to 7:31. Thanks for joining me, everyone. This is a bit of a novelty, isn't it? Okay, we'll get started. So if you've just arrived, just lying down on the back, just getting your body centered on the mat. And just have the legs slightly apart, rolling the feet and the ankles outwards. Arms just separated by the body and palms facing upwards. Just getting yourself into a nice restful position here before we get started. And while you're lying there, just by way of introduction, my name's Linda Whitehead and I'm the founder of Three Little Moons Yoga, which is what you guys are watching this live stream through. So feel free to subscribe to my channel at the end, and I'll be uploading lots of other videos that you can use at any time. But I'm also the founder of an amazing group called Yoga for Bros. So normally Tuesday nights at this time, I've got a weekly class where I've got sort of 15 to 18 guys that come together regularly. And we do yoga, meditation, have a catch up and a beer at this time. But unfortunately, with our new social distancing rules in Australia, we're unable to do that tonight. So I really wanted to bring this practice for my bros to continue their yoga practice. And I know that some of them are watching tonight with their family as well. So I love that we've got this platform now as well so that we can keep our practice up. And it really feels like right now more than ever before, we need something like this. So tonight's class, as you're just getting yourself settled, lying there on the mat, eyes gently closed. Tonight's class is all about becoming present. So there's a lot going on at the minute. We've got a lot of uncertainty in our life. So all we've really got is the right here and now. So tonight we're going to work through some movement, some meditation and some breath work to just really come in to this moment. It's the only thing that's sure for us. So if you're lying down on the mat, just gently closing the eyes. If you haven't already, if you're seated, just gently closing the eyes. And feeling the body start to release and let go. Feel the balance on both sides, both buttocks, both sides of the spine. And just start to feel the body soften. Feel yourself releasing the busyness of your day. Scan of the body. Noticing the top of the head softening. Notice the shoulders start to release and let go. Scanning down through the chest and the arms. Consciously letting go of any tension. Feel the belly start to soften. And all the way down through the hips. Feel the hips slightly widening, spreading and releasing. The upper legs relax. The lower legs. And just letting go of any last bits of tension through the feet. Just letting go of any residual stress or tension in the body. And as we start to become present, I want you to notice any sounds that you can hear around you. Any sounds in this present moment. Perhaps focusing on some sounds from outside. Just listening and noticing what's happening through the sensation of sound outside the room. And now bringing that awareness of the sounds to within the room. Just noticing any noises going on around you. Picking them up, letting them go. Just noticing all of the sounds in this present moment. And I want you to let the sounds go now and bring your attention to the touch of the floor beneath you. Notice all of the points that the body is pressing against the floor, the mat, the towel, whatever it is for you. And feel the support. You might notice if it's a soft or hard surface, whether it's cool or warm, no judgment, just observing. And letting that sensation of touch go now, bringing your focus to the sensation of smell. Are there any smells within the room? It's Tuesday evening in Melbourne, so perhaps leftover dinner, cooking, smells, whatever it is, just observing. Letting the smells go now, I just want you to take the tip of the tongue and wipe it around the inside of the mouth. Noticing any tastes, any residual tastes within the mouth. Again, without judgment, just observing. And now, keeping the eyes gently closed, I want you to look at the insides of the eyelids, noticing any colours, any shapes, any shadows. Again, without judgment, just noticing anything that's going on the insides of the eyelids. And noticing the starting to turn within. Noticing that we've now left behind the busyness of the day and we've started to arrive here in this moment. Taking a nice deep breath in through the nostrils, gathering up any physical pain or stiffness, holding on at the top of the breath, opening the mouth and sighing it out. And again, a nice deep breath in through the nostrils. Filling the lungs, drawing on on anything that you don't need to carry forward with you into this next hour of yoga. Opening the mouth and letting it go. One more nice deep breath in. This time, all of our fears and our worries, all of the unsettled future thoughts, holding on and letting them go. Just feeling the body start to soften, start to relax. And now, just for a moment, bring your attention to the breath at the nostrils. Notice with each inhalation that slight coolness on the inside edge of the nostrils. And with each exhalation, a slight warmth. Breathing in and breathing out. And just starting to take some control over that breath now. Breathing in a nice full deep breath to the count of 4. And breathing out a nice full deep breath to the count of 4. Breathing in 2, 3, 4, completely filling the lungs, and out 2, 3, 4, and in 2, 3, 4, out 2, 3, 4. On your own, completely filling the lungs on the inhalation. And completely emptying on the exhalation. Full deep breath in. Full deep breath out. Bringing in new energy, new prana. Breathing out any negativity and staleness. One more full round. Breathing in 2, 3, 4, and breathing out 2, 3, 4. And just releasing the breath now. Just bringing it back to its natural, spontaneous state. And then just gently starting to wriggle the fingers and the toes as we start to bring movement into the body. Taking a nice big deep stretch up above the head, pointing the toes out in front of you. And then perhaps drawing the knees into the chest while you're lying there on the back and giving yourself a little hug, maybe a little roll from side to side. And then just gently rolling to one side, making yourself roll up position. And when you do arrive, just gently closing down the eyes, bringing the hands together in prayer position, thumbs pressing against the heart, as you connect with yourself in this very moment. I like to start my practices with a quote tonight because we're really working on staying in the present, not being too focused in the past, which is very different to our future, and certainly not focused on the future, which is something we don't understand, don't know about. All we know is this present. And so the opening quote is, "The present moment is the only moment available to us, or to all moments. Be present, give 100% to right now." Gently take the hands down to the knees and just turn and look over the right shoulder. We want to slowly drop the head down. I'm going to start to create nice big rotations here through the neck. So just keep the eyes closed once you've seen what we're doing. And just start to create movement in the neck. Nice long, deep rotations. We hold a lot of tension in the neck, and this is a great way to just start to release, start to open up a little. Next time you come back to the center, gently back the other way. And just keeping those eyes closed, noticing if some areas are a little more tense than others. Just observing and giving them a little extra care on the way through. Just moving. And when you finish the next round, just bringing yourself back up to center. We'll take the right shoulder and we want to bring it forward and start to create a nice big rotation, drawing back on the knees, pushing forward. And we're starting to loosen up through that lower spine here. Again, once you've seen what we're doing, close down the eyes. Or you might want to start to move a little faster. You might spend a little extra time somewhere. Back the other way. Slowly moving and creating these rotations through the lower back. One more big circle. And coming up to center. Let's bring the hands down beside us. Hands draw in, clasp the hands up towards the heart. Turn the palms around, push them away and draw backwards. We want the spine curving, a nice big drawing forward with the hands. Chin them a little way away from us here. Drop the elbow close to the ground and a nice big stretch up with that left arm, looking up towards the inside of the elbow. Just check that both buttocks are on the floor and we're creating length from the hip all the way up to the armpit. And we just watch the breath, staying present by connecting with the breath. And slowly over to the other side. This time left hand comes down to the mat, walk it away. Start to lower the elbow down a little. Right arm comes up and we look up. Check that right buttock is stuck down towards the mat. We're opening through the right side. Breathing. And slowly coming back to center. And we're going to just take that right hand, place it on the floor behind the right buttock, left hand over on the right knee. Nice long tall spine, gently twisting and looking over the right shoulder. Focusing on the breath and imagining the breath drawing up and down through the spine. Holding here, these beautiful twists. Take away, detox, they help us detoxify, take away the tension in the spine. Slowly coming back to the center. This time the left hand on the floor behind the buttock, right hand on the left knee, long tall spine, gently twisting, looking over the left shoulder. Focus on the breath. And gently releasing, coming back to the center. Let's straighten out the legs in front of us. Take a nice big stretch upwards. Keep that spine straight. We want to have a nice long straight spine. That means you probably can't go very far. Wherever the hands land, just finding a sweet spot there. And then when you do, just allow the spine to curl a little. The hands might walk a little further forward. Shoulders start to relax and the neck starts to release. Just holding here. We're not straining. We're just starting to create that length all the way up the back of the legs, through the buttocks, up either side of the spine, and long through the neck and head. If this feels too tight in the hamstrings, just bend the knees a little. We're just starting to create length through the back. We're going to hold here for 4 more long, deep breaths. Two more. And gently releasing. Let's come up onto all fours. So let's prepare to move into cat-cow. So we want to have the hands nice and wide, middle fingers at the top of the mat. We're going to ensure that the shoulders are stacked over the wrists and the hips are stacked over the knees hip distance apart. We'll drop the belly, bring the chest forward and up. And then we'll tuck the tailbone, draw the chin in towards the chest and curve the spine. Adding the breath, breathing in, drop the belly. Breathing out, chin towards chest, tailbone tucked. And again, breathing in, breathing out. Breathing in and breathing out. Breathing in, breathing out. This time I want you to start to gently move the hips in any way that feels good for you. Keep the hands and the knees exactly where they are, but just move around however your body is intuitively telling you you should move right now. So perhaps close down the eyes. You might find one side is a little more tense than the other. Just freestyling, I call this freestyle hips. Freely moving, you might draw figure eights. Whatever feels good for you right now. And then just taking the knees nice and wide out to the outer edges of the mat. The toes come inwards. We want to draw back, sitting down as close as we can to the feet, drawing the hands forward and just placing the forehead down on the mat. This is called pose of the child. When we're here, we want to try to rest and relax. We want the sensation of the heart drawing down towards the mat. And if the forehead is on the mat, if you've managed to get the head down there, just gently rolling the head from side to side and letting the mat give your forehead a nice little massage. Just enjoying this moment, this present moment, this pose of surrender. And just really allowing yourself to let go here. Focusing on the breath. And then slowly bringing yourself back up, resetting the knees. Now we're going to draw up into downward dog. So keeping the hands out nice and wide, the middle fingertips facing the front of the mat. We want to tuck the toes under. Just bring the knees up to hover a little. We want to push the hands away. We'll keep the knees bent as we just start to raise the bottom up towards the ceiling. We want to have a nice long line between the neck, the head, all the way up to the back of the spine. And then when we arrive, we're going to put one heel up, one heel down as we start to straighten a little through the knees. We just start to bring an opening through the backs of the legs as we walk the dog. Little movement from side to side. You might like to even swing the hips a little bit. Again, just listening to your body. Letting it guide you with what feels good and what doesn't. And then let's gently squeeze both heels down towards the mat together, straightening the knees if that's available to you. And just drawing the hands away from you, creating length in that spine. Taking a few breaths here. And then slowly bringing the knees down to the floor. We're going to move into the bros liked called pretzel. So if Nick's watching, I'm sure he'll be looking forward to this. Actually, I'll start this way and then I'll change halfway through so you can see what I'm doing. So we're back into this same tabletop position. We'll take the right hand and we open it up, looking up at that right hand, up at the ceiling. So we've got a nice twist here. And then we take that right hand, thread it between the left hand and the left knee, and bring that shoulder to hover down on the floor beside us. I'm going to do a spin around. So we're opening up, breathing in, threading the needle, breathing out. Opening up, breathing in, threading the needle, breathing out. One more, opening up, breathing out. This time we're going to place that shoulder down on the mat. And there's an option to stay exactly here. If you want something a little extra, you might walk that left hand out to the top left hand of the mat, press into the fingertips and create a little extra twist. If you'd like even a little more, we'll take that left hand up and over, place it on the right hip and open through that left shoulder. And if it's the pretzel that you want to do, we'll bring that hand back down to the face and we bring the left leg out to the side. And once it's landed, hand back up and over. So usually in our Yoga for Bros class, this causes a few giggles and it's our favorite pose for some of us. So just holding here and breathing. We'll take that left hand, bring it back down to the mat, press into it as we draw the left leg back in, push into the hand as we come back up onto all fours. And we're going to move on to the other side. This time we bring the left arm up, twisting, looking up at the hand. Thread the needle through to the right side, looking over the right shoulder. Breathing in, opening up. Breathing out, threading through. Breathing in, opening. Breathing out. Breathing in and breathing out. Let's place the left shoulder on the floor this time. Placing that down. And then again, same option. We can walk that right hand out to the upper edge of the mat, pushing into the fingertips and turning to look upwards towards that right underarm. Otherwise, hands on right hand next to the cheek, right foot out to the side, right arm up and over, placing it on the left hip, and just really feel that sensation of the right shoulder opening up here, looking up towards the ceiling. Into the pretzel. Focusing on the breath. Gently releasing the hand back down, placing it on the mat next to the face, pressing in enough so that you can bring the right foot in, pushing in and bringing yourself back up. Let's just walk the hands a little in front of you, keep the fingers out nice and wide, tuck those toes under, and we'll draw back up into downward dog. Just squeezing the heels down towards the mat, pushing the hands away from you, tailbone drawing upwards towards the ceiling. Now we're just going to come up onto the toes, bring the gaze to be between the hands, looking between the hands, and we're going to just start to walk the feet up towards the hands. And then when we arrive, we just want the feet slightly apart. Grab hold of opposite elbow, a nice bend in the knees. And we want to just start to swing slightly, relax the head. This is ragdoll pose. So just find yourself in a really nice, deep ragdoll type of shape, allowing the upper body to just really relax here. A little swing from side to side. The bend in the knees makes sure that we're starting to create movement in the lower back, not really stretching too much through that hamstring area. And then let's rotate. So a nice big circle here. Just come up to about waist height with the elbows and then draw them all the way back down again. Another big rotation in the same direction. Keep those knees nicely bent. And let's swing back the other way. Bending the knees in the downward movement. And back down. And when you do arrive back down, let's release the hands. And slowly start to straighten through the knees, starting to roll your way up to standing. And when you do arrive, allow the shoulders to roll back. Allow yourself to arrive. Now, I've just realised that I need to change the camera a bit. Sorry, everyone. Technical issue. I think I've got you. All right, so now we're going to move into half sun salutations. So let's bring the hands together in prayer position. Thumbs pressing towards the heart. Feet just slightly apart, actually. And we're going to take a nice deep breath in, arms up, overhead, looking up at the hands. You might like to have a little bend in the back if that's okay for you tonight. Hands come down through the center of the body and we bring them down to the floor. A nice bend in the knees here, and we want the chest drawing down onto the knees. We're going to straighten the knees, hands on the shins, halfway lift. So we've got a nice long straight spine here. Then we bend back down, hands to the floor, knees bent, chest down onto the knees. We'll breathe in, arms come up overhead, looking up at those hands, and hands come back to prayer. And that's one round. Let's do it again. We'll add the breath. Breathing in, arms up overhead. Breathing out, forward fold, knees bent, chest to knees. Breathing in, straighten the knees, long spine, halfway lift. And then bend the knees again, forward fold, drop the head. Breathing in, arms overhead. Breathing out, hands to prayer. Let's really get the breath going. Breathing in. Breathing out, forward fold. Breathing in, halfway lift. Breathing out, forward fold. Breathing in, arms up overhead. Breathing out, back to prayer. One more. Breathing in. Breathing out. Breathing in. Breathing out. Breathing in. Breathing out. Now we're going to move into a full sun salutation. So just coming to the front of the mat if you're not already there. We'll work through slowly together. So let's bring the hands back to prayer. Just get yourself centered. Just check in with yourself. Check that you're here in the room, that the mind's not wandering and you're connected. Let's take a nice deep breath in, arms up overhead. Breathing out, forward fold. Bend those knees, chest down to the knees. Straighten the knees, halfway lift, strong, straight spine. Breathing out, hands come down to the floor and we're going to step straight back and into downward dog here. And then breathing in, we're going to come forward and we want to come up into a high plank here. Breathing out, we're going to lower the knees, gently lower the body down to the floor. Untuck the toes, breathing in as we press into the hands, coming up into baby cobra. Breathing out, lowering ourselves, tuck the toes, back up into downward dog. We're just going to take a moment to catch our breath here. Remembering we want length through that upper torso, drawing the hips upwards towards the ceiling. And then breathing in, we'll come up onto the toes, look forward, step or hop our way to the front of the mat and fold as we breathe out. Breathe overhead. Breathing out, hands to prayer. Beautiful. Now we're going to move into a warrior breath here. So we want to come into this goddess pose, which my Yoga for Bros guys don't love that I call it goddess pose. But anyway, we've got a nice wide, feet out nice and wide, toes facing outwards, and a nice deep bend here. We're going to do some breath work here. So we're starting to shift some of the stagnant energy that we're probably holding on to. It's a bit weird. So if someone's watching you, they're going to think that you've lost it. But anyway, it's really good for you. You'll love it. So just come into a nice deep posture here and imagine you're holding onto a ball in front of you. And I'll show you the first one. We're going to take 2 deep breaths in where we go. So create fists and then we release the hands and we go as we breathe it out. So we're fully breathing into full capacity and fully breathing out. And as you do, you're drawing in new energy and pushing out all that stress and worry you've got. So let's do it. We have a bit of a laugh, but it's just what we do. Okay, hands together. We'll do it together. Breathing in. Keep going. 2 more. Straighten the legs, palms of the hands facing upwards. Just get a nice strong gaze somewhere. So those of receptivity. And just notice if you can already feel a bit of a tingling. Our breath work starts to move our energy around. Just feeling and noticing. And then coming back to the front of the mat. Again, the hands into prayer. Breathing in, arms up, overhead. Breathing out, forward fold. Breathing in, halfway lift. Breathing out, let's step back into downward dog. Breathing in, high plank. Breathing out, lower the knees, lower the body to the floor, untuck the toes. Press into the hands, breathing in, baby cobra. Breathing out, lower the body, tuck the toes into downward dog. And again, let's just take a moment here. Just catch up, catch your breath. And then we'll come up onto the toes, look forward as we breathe in, walk or jump to the front of the mat, breathing out, forward fold. Breathing in, arms up, overhead. Breathing out, hands to prayer. Let's move into warrior breath 2. So let's come back in to this nice wide goddess stance. This one's a little bit more tricky. So we're going to do 2 in breaths, 2 out breaths, as we just did. We went this time. We're going to breathe in and we go 1 on the first breath. We scoop up the energy and we face the palms down with fists. Second inhalation is just a big. Then as we exhale, we bring the hands back down to that position, palms facing down, and then we release. So it looks like this. So let's do it together. We'll do it a little bit slowly at first. So we're going to come together. So breathe in. 1, 2, 3, 4. So we're breathing in, out, out. So let's speed it up. Keep going. Keep going. One more. Release. Palms facing up. Find somewhere to look. Just fix your gaze and feel what's happening now within the body. Is the heart starting to race? Are you starting to warm up a little? Just noticing what's going on. And then stepping back up to the front of the mat. Hands in prayer position. Let's take a nice deep breath in. Overhead. Breathing out, forward fold. Breathing in, halfway lift. Breathing out, hands to the floor, back up into downward dog. We'll just take a moment here. Couple of breaths. In, we'll tip forward into high plank. Breathing out, lower down to the floor. Untuck the toes, press into the hands, cobra, breathing in. Breathing out, tuck the toes, pressing back up into downward dog. Breathing in, we're going to come up onto the toes, look forward, hop or walk forward. Breathing out on the forward fold. Breathing in, arms up, overhead. Breathing out, hands to prayer. We're not done yet. We're coming into warrior 3 breath. So we're coming back into this same goddess pose. It's getting ourselves centered. This time it's a 2-part exhalation and inhalation and 1 long exhalation. So we're going to gather the breath. We go, put the same fist position and we draw up on the pelvic floor, hold, and then release. So we'll do it together. It's hold, drawing up, release. And again, drawing in, hold, and release. Hold, draw up on that pelvic floor, lifting the energy up towards the heart, holding, and release. And again, hold, and release. Okay, last one before we get to the floor, coming back to the front. Hands in prayer. Breathing in, breathing out. Halfway lift, breathing in, breathing out, hands to the floor, back into downward dog. Breathing in, coming forward into plank. Breathing out, lowering the body to the floor, untuck the toes. Breathing in into cobra. Breathing out, tuck the toes, up into downward dog. Taking a moment. Now we're just going to drop the knees to the mat, nice wide edges, feet come to touch. And let's draw back into pose of the child. Just taking a moment here to rest and feeling the movement of the energy here, noticing just what that little bit of breath work did for you. Just resting, feeling the heart drawing downwards. And then slowly coming up, just bringing yourself to a seated position here. And now I want you to just bring the soles of the feet together and just drawing the heels up as close to the body as you can. You might just like to give a little rock and roll from side to side, a little loosening through the hips. And then I want you to just take the feet and draw them a little bit away from you. So we're in a sort of diamond shape here. So just creating a nice opening. You might feel a little bit through the hip opening. Nice, long, tall spine, and then just gently walk the hands forward, finding somewhere that feels comfortable for you, enough that you can just slowly soften and release here. We're going to hold here. We'll just hold for about 20 seconds. But I want you to bring an attitude of release and softness here. This is not about straining and drawing forward. It's about just allowing the muscles to slowly let go and release through the hips. And just bringing your attention to the breath. You might still be a little out of breath after that breath work we did. We're starting to shift a bit of energy, and now we're softening back in. We're bringing back in that new breath. 2 more long, deep breaths. And slowly walking your way back up to seated. Let's take the left leg out to the side. The right foot comes right in to the upper edge of that left thigh. Nice, long, straight spine. And we're just going to turn and look at that left leg, and then we're going to walk the hands down. Doesn't matter where you can go to, it's not important. It's just that you want to feel a nice opening and stretch up this right side of the body. So you're really feeling from that right hip up towards the ribs. And again, I want you to try to be soft here. So you might let the head drop down. I don't want you to be straining and stressing. We're trying to create softness. Just focusing on the breath. And if thoughts start to come into the mind, just gently pushing them away by staying focused with the breath. Four more deep breaths. And then just gently letting go if you're holding on anywhere, starting to walk center. We're going to place the right hand on the floor behind that right buttock. We're going to come up onto that knee and a nice big stretch through the left, so we'll just roll with that. And then slowly bringing yourself back down to the center. Let's swap over to the other side. This time the right leg goes out, left foot comes into the inner edge of that right thigh. Nice, tall, straight spine before we turn and look at that right leg, and slowly walking our way down that leg until we find comfort, till we find somewhere where we've just got a little bit of stretch coming up that left side of the body this time. And when we do arrive, just becoming soft, connecting with the breath. And just being present. There's nowhere else you need to be but right here and now. Two more breaths. Slowly releasing. Drawing yourself back up to the center, left hand on the floor behind the left buttock, and a nice big line. And slowly coming back down. Let's open up the legs nice and wide. Again, creating length through the spine. We want to turn and look at that right leg, walk the hands down to wherever we feel comfortable. And then we want to walk the hands through the center, so like a big circle here. So just a nice big circle. Try and keep the body down as close to the ground as you can until you arrive at the other side. And then we're slowly walking ourselves back up that left leg. And back down. So back down on the left leg. Try to be smooth now as we rotate all the way around. Try and stay down low, over to the right ankle, walking back up to the center, and again, down to the right side, through the center. Just continuing in where you would like to open a little bit further, otherwise just keep flowing all the way through. Next time you end up back on that right leg, just bringing yourself back up to center. We're going to make our way down onto our backs. And I think I'm just going to adjust the camera a little bit. Sorry, everyone. It's coming down onto your back. And I want you to just have both soles of the feet on the mat with the heels drawing up towards the buttocks. Let's take the right foot up into the air, take hold of the back of that right thigh, and we'll just rotate through the ankle. Just rotating in one direction and then rotating in the other direction. And now let's keep a flex in that foot, placing it on top of the left knee, and we're just drawing that right knee open a little. We'll take the right hand and we'll lift the left foot off the floor, right hand down the center of the legs, and we'll take hold of the back of that left leg and draw it towards us. Just keep the right foot flexed because we want to protect that knee a little bit. And just drawing it towards you, we're not straining, just slowly starting to open up through that right hip. And remembering to connect back with the breath. Releasing the hold on the back of that foot, left foot to the floor. Let's bring the arms out nice and wide. We're going to cross the right knee over that left knee as if we're sitting on a bar stool. We're going to drop the knees over to the left side, but we're going to turn and look at the right hand here. Now, if that feels a bit awkward and you want a bit of extra stretch, just take that left hand and place it on top of the right knee and just help to pull yourself across to the left a little. This is usually the best point for lots of groans in my Yoga for Bros class because it's really starting to open up through the lower back. Breathing and being present. Gently releasing, drawing the legs back up to the center. Right foot comes down to the floor. And swapping over to the other side. Goes up towards the ceiling. We take hold of the back of the left leg and we rotate the ankle. And slowly back the other way. Keeping that foot flexed, let's place it on top of the right knee, drawing the left knee out as we open through the left hip. Left hand through the center of the legs, take hold of the back of the thigh, and draw that right knee towards you at the same time the left hip is opening. Softness. Observing the breath. Just releasing that the ground. Arms out in a T shape. Left knee crosses over the right. Legs drop to the right side of the body and we turn and look over towards the left hand. And for that extra stretch, just placing that right hand on top of the knee. Watching the breath. Legs to come back to the center. We're going to just bring those heels up nice and close to the buttocks here. The hands are down, face down beside the body. They're almost touching the heels or touching the feet if they can. And we're going to press into the soles of the feet and lift the hips up towards the ceiling. So just squeezing the feet down, squeezing the buttocks, drawing upwards and continuing to breathe. And slowly, slowly lowering back down. And again, we're going to press into the soles of the feet, squeeze the buttocks. And if this is enough for you for tonight, that's fine. Otherwise, bring the hands together, clasp them underneath the buttocks. And we want to squeeze up onto the shoulder blades and create a nice big half bridge here. Just make sure the neck and the head is centered. Squeezing the buttocks, squeezing the shoulder blades, drawing the hips upwards. Just a nice back bend. And release the hands, soften and flatten out the shoulder blades, slowly lower the body back down. And we'll just draw the knees into the chest. Give yourself a little rock and roll here from side to side. And then into my favorite posture, which is happy baby. So we put the soles of the feet up towards the ceiling, knees are apart. Place the elbows on the inside edges of the knees and wrap the hands around the outer edge of the feet. And we're just rolling from side to side. You can laugh, you can do whatever you want to here. And we're just really doing whatever feels right for the body. This is our last posture before we go into our deep relaxation. So just moving in any way intuitively feels good. And then when you're ready, just bringing the legs down, getting yourself ready to move into our final deep meditation. Just checking that the legs are slightly apart, the ankles are rolled outwards. The arms are beside the body, again, just away from the body, and the palms are facing upwards. And then gently closing down the eyes. This is our final posture of our practice. This is where all the magic of yoga happens. Just allowing yourself to let go, feeling into any shifts since the beginning of the class. Just gently scanning the body to notice how it feels now compared to earlier. And just really letting go on a deep cellular level. Just checking that you're no longer holding on, starting at the top of the head, releasing any tension down through the upper body, the arms, through the torso. Check that the hips and the legs are relaxed, the upper legs, the lower legs, and the feet. And while you're lying there, just a beautiful quote that I saw today that I want to share with you all with our practice around being present. And that is, when we action something from inspiration, openness, and excitement, it is like planting a seed in potent, prime soil. When we action something out of fear or anger, it's like planting in soil of poor quality. Both may grow, but the fruits that bear in the future can be in abundance and delicious, or produce small and bitter crops. It's your choice. Just something for us to think about as we move into a future, which is almost like a big veggie patch or an empty plot. If we approach this next phase with an attitude of inspiration and openness, something really amazing could come of it. But if we approach it with fear and anger, it's unlikely that we'll produce abundance and quite likely produce negativity and bitterness. Starting to wriggle the fingers and the toes as we start to bring movement back into the physical self. A nice big stretch of the arms above the head, pointing the toes like an early morning wake-up stretch. Drawing the knees in towards the chest. A little rock from side to side. And then rocking right over to one side. Where you can either just pause a moment or slowly bring yourself up to a seated position. And when you do arrive, just gently closing down the eyes. We'll place the hands on the knees, palms facing downwards as we ground back into the space. Just one final check-in with how you're feeling, firstly on a physical level, noticing any strain or tension you felt earlier, if it's still there or if it's eased a little. And then on a mental level, noticing whether the mind has become a little calmer. And then on an energetic level, we've used the breath tonight to shift some of the staleness, some of the negativity, trying to bring new vitality into the body, which will help us to move forward. And now just bring the hands together in prayer, thumbs pressing against the heart space. Keeping the eyes closed, connecting with yourself, noticing the pressure of those thumbs against the heart. The closing quote on our class tonight around being present is, "What lies before us and what lies behind us are small matters compared to what lies within us." Thank you all so much for watching. Let's do it again next week. Have a great night. Namaste. Thanks everyone.